Hello, friends, and it's Funky Play Brothers. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube. And they were reading part 16 of an original novel, Piggy the Cure by Terrace Crawford, #2. And last time we were somewhere in between Spidella and Tio. And Spidella again. Predictably, night had fallen before they reached the military base. The snow was worse here, perhaps because of their proximity to the North Sea, coming down in a flurry of wet white powder. The Delport base looked almost identical to the one in Lucella, quelling any fears the group may have had. They were misreading the map, where in Lucella there had been a singular helicopter outside the lab. In Delport, half a dozen trucks could be stowed. Away in the parking lot. Could this mean more survivors? When Ben Hart began the race, it thought he hardly knew why the people in front of him at this very moment were the only 3 people he had seen in months that had not immediately tried to consume him. Ben pushed through the snow now, up to his thighs. As he waded toward the front door of the military lab, he began banging on the door with fervor. He was sure he would have hurt his hand were it not already frozen. Ben didn't know what he had expected, but there was no response from the inside. A blue glow to the side of the door caught his eye, a grid of numbers on a keypad. It seemed this was the best way to gain entrance to the lab. Ben sighed, removed his jacket, and placed it over the head to block out the snow and sun. The digits 0 through 9 were displayed on a keypad in front of him. Usually this sort of thing was Ollie's purview. Ben preferred to sit back and watch his old friend do this, but his old friend was in no condition to do any kind of this. Ben shook his jacket, snow having already accumulated in the hood, and pulled out off the doggy's flashlight. The keypad itself was lit from behind, but that wasn't what Ben was looking for. Ben shone the flashlight on the keypad, looking for which of the numbers may have been worn down by use. Now he wasn't quite good at this sort of thing, but it looked like his choices were 5, 9, 3, and Ben wouldn't get to finish his investigation. Billy, seemingly tired of waiting, has elected to expedite their process by smashing the door open, the handle of his weighted barbell sticking through the first flat floor window of the laboratory. Billy held the door open for Badgie and Ben before chugging in shut, keeping them from having to endure the elements any longer. Ben tossed his jacket on the ground, where it landed with a wet, sloping sound. Somehow it didn't feel safe to be running around the lab with wet clothes on, and Ben had a sinking feeling that after all it had been through, the jacket might have never be dry again. This adventure had started in a lab, and it seemed it would end in one as well. Billy sat Ollie down gently for all to see. Billy's jaw dropped while Badgie recoiled in shock. The leader of the military gestured to 2 of them. You 2 you may stay if you would like. Your friends, however, I wish them luck. She gestured toward her second in command, and the man quickly marched over to a nearby keypad. He pressed a code in quickly, and the busted door of the lab swung open to cast Ollie and Ben out. The wind howled and the snow poured down, each desperate to claim the 2 boys of their own. Ollie would not make the trip back to Lucella. This was their final option. No, it's not what you think. I'm immune. Ben shouted at a last-ditch effort. He didn't know if it was true himself, and if they asked the proof, he couldn't very well say that it came to him in a dream this time. It was Badgie's turn to drop his jaw. Ben winced with all the chaos, getting poisoned by a giant zombie spider, Ollie being attacked, being held up by the Doveport Milta. Ben had not found time to disclose the details of his dream to Badge and Belly. Even if he had, what if that's all that it was, a dream? Impossible, hissed the Milta commander. Ben stumbled backwards, tripping over his own feet as the squad advanced. He fell backward, hitting the ground hard and scrambling backward until his back was pressed against the wall of the base. "It's true," Ben shouted. It is a very long story. Badge and Billy prepared for battle, drawing their respective weapons as their opponents advanced. Billy's barbell was starting to show signs of wear rust, creeping over the weights, and pain mostly flaked off at this point. Badgie's glowing pole looked as elegant as ever, casting a green light against the pulsing blue glow from the Milta stun baton. The Milta commander grabbed her helmet and fixed it back to her face, powering up her own weapon. "Now, by the power of Doveport Milta, we must destroy you." "Must you?" Billy queried from the back of the room. "You do that, and you kiss your chances of piecing the cure together goodbye." The voice seemed to come from nowhere, yet still echoed off the walls of the base. Powerful, authoritative, and firm. Confused Badgie, Ben, Billy, and members of the Milta looked around, each searching in a different direction for the source of disembodied voice. Ben surveyed the room almost frantically, already practically convinced that he was losing his mind. Ben set up a small flash of light at his hip, clung him into the source of the mysterious voice. He unclipped off the doggy's walkie-talkie from its place on his belt loop and pressed down the transmission button. "Oh, well, you don't know how good it is to hear from you." Ben was so relieved he could have cried. "Well, he fell on the ground earlier. He must have accidentally opened the walkie-talkie's communication channel. Staying pressed against the cave wall had likely kept the transmission button held down, meaning Willow had heard everything that happened in the last few minutes." "What's a girl have to do to return her calls, kid?" came Willow's reply, crackling over the airways. Ben let out the weirdest chuckle of his young life. "It's a long story, Willow. I'll fill you in later." And that's also when Will compared notes of definition of checking in. Willow chilled in her tone so strong that Ben could practically see the face that she was making. "Enough of this banter," shouted the leader of the Doveport Milta. "The voice on your device said that you came to us with a cure. Explain yourself." "Oh, for crying out loud," Badgie said, his glowing rod still raised above his head. "It's the cure for bad breath. What do you think? We're here to wimp off a big old batch of zombie gone." "A cure?" Two members of the party have been attacked, and you come here speaking of a cure, as if it isn't bad enough dealing with the orange eyes, you'll bring the red eyes with you." The Milta leader paced through her ranks, never taking her eyes off Ollie, groaning and grunting in the corner. "I know what you're going through." Willow voice came over the walkie-talkie. "You want to protect your people the same way I want to protect mine. Well, let me tell you, this is the best way." And that's where we'll stop for now in Chapter 5. The next time, it will be the end. Then, after that, I might read a little of the back of it, which is "Hello Neighbor Reset Day." Maybe. So, friends, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow us on X at the Funky Playbrothers. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Funky Playbrothers. Support our vlog at Cash App at the $sign Funky Playbrothers. So you have more unboxings, more taste tests, more adventures, more monies, and support. Thank you for watching. Bye.